Welcome to the Digital PR Show. You want the future of marketing and PR? You've come to the right place. We're spilling all the secrets on what it really takes to crush it in PR, digital marketing, and agency life. No jargon and no gatekeeping. Whether you're building a brand, scaling a biz, or just here for the hot takes, we've got you covered. Let's get digital.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Digital PR Show. I'm Vanessa Arate, and today I'm joined by Peter Pilarski and Rick Alvarez, and we're going to be diving into SEOs in 2026. What is still working? Well, we're going to cover that, and we're going to cover what's changed, what hasn't, and what you should really be focusing on. So, question one, Rick, I will start with you. How has the search changed in the last few years?
For the most part, the way that the content is being consumed nowadays is through LLMs. So we are not really having the traditional way where humans used to go into the websites and review every single page to gather information that they need. It's actually more chatting with LLM tools like ChatGPT or Claude, and then the user consuming the content from there, or even when they are using Google, focusing more on the overview side of things versus actually clicking on the website.
And Peter, what are clients confused about, or have you noticed they need a little bit of guidance when it comes to SEO stuff right now?
Yeah, so I think they need a lot of guidance, and because really we need to start thinking differently about our websites, and actually we need to start thinking a little bit differently about who our websites are built for, and that's a hard mental leap for a lot of companies. So one stat that stands out that I've been kind of focused on lately is 39% of internet traffic currently is human, and the rest is bots and AI chatbots, like Rick was mentioning, and so really the entire game is changing. It's like we're standing on quicksand right now and the world is changing in front of us, and we're kind of and so there's what I think a lot of companies need to understand is you may have been number one on Google, you may be completely invisible in large language models, and so unfortunately it's getting more complicated. But at the same time, we'll talk about this in a bit, it's actually not that complicated. Just people need to think differently about the whole world.
I think even myself, I'm still kind of trying to understand it too. And there's so many things that are changing all the time. So it's nice having people that know, like, okay, yeah, like you said, you were number one, but that doesn't mean you are now. So with that, Rick, in your perspective, what are the fundamentals that still do work?
In that sense, what still works is having a solid website that is optimized for robots really to read. That implies not having broken links, having the right kind of content, focusing on content pillars versus focusing on keyword, just exclusively keywords that are performing, because slowly with the transition into LLMs, it's important for you to have the right context on your website for those LLMs to read that context, but also having the right signaling on a technical level, because the signals are going to help the robots understand what content you have on your website, how to read it, how to provide that, translate that information into something that the user can use, versus before it was more like keyword research, optimization, even if it didn't make sense within the context of a blog or a web page. Now it's more important than ever to ensure that the content is relevant.
Yeah, I completely agree with that. I know one of my biggest pet peeves is when I go to a website and you click on more information and it's not working. I hate that so much. It drives me nuts, especially when I was in news. Like you said, I always had to use stuff like keywords, but I find that it is a little harder now. So what you're saying about having that stuff up to date is a game changer. And what about you, Peter? Do you feel the same way as Rick and what he's saying on what people need to be doing fundamentally to get their website up and running and being someone that people are
Yeah.
actually finding online?
For sure, I do. And I'm going to phrase it a little bit differently because what Rick's saying is all 100% accurate, but it really comes down to one thing, which is user experience. And so, like, the AI agents and the bots and all the online different tools are the same as humans, actually. And actually, Google and all the AI tools will look at it the same. It's like you need to provide a good user experience. And what does that mean? You need to have a website that gives the information that people are asking for. You need to have it be fast, needs to not have broken links. Like, so again, all these fundamental things are kind of the same thing that they've always been, which is focus on providing a really great user experience. And then I would say the number two thing, which is another kind of fundamental thing that really hasn't changed, but has become more important, is answer people's questions, give people the information they want. So if you think that, oh, we're going to just give you very high level information and we're going to hide all of our secret stuff in the background, it's like, you know what? The user, again, from a user experience perspective, will say, I didn't find the answer here, or the AI will say, I didn't find the answer here, but guess what? I found it here. So guess which website's going to be served up or recommended by the AI agent? The one that actually answers the questions through a good user experience, right? So fundamentals are fundamentals.
And okay, so Rick, can you kind of speak on if local SEO is still important?
Yes, definitely. I think it will always be important because that's the foundation of peace. Even if you want to go international, you have to start, making sure that all the fundamental things are covered locally, and then you can expand. So yeah, definitely important still.
How is CIPR adjusting its strategies?
Yeah, so I think first of all, really focusing on, again, answering questions. And so one of the major changes we've been focusing on with every client lately is making sure you have actually a Q&A section on every page of your website. So, it used to be you'd have all this content and then you maybe have a Q&A page somewhere. And now really we're saying, again, back to a user experience, you have Q&As on the homepage, on the relevant service pages, and the questions and answers should be relevant to that page, right? So, and again, to me, it just comes down to the same fundamentals. It's like, hey, people want answers to questions. Your website should provide that. And so Q&As is definitely one way that we're doing that. I think the other piece, it's kind of funny, but I say what's old is new again. And what I mean by that is we started off as a PR agency. We've always been a PR agency. And suddenly now everybody's talking about PR and digital PR. It's always been the best way to actually build links and kind of build authority for your website. And really, if you're a good company, a good corporate citizen, and you're writing about the things you're doing and you're partnering and you're supporting and then you're, writing press releases and sort of that all creates natural links. And so I think what's old is new again is PR is suddenly what everybody's talking about, which is actually what everybody should have been doing all along. And I think the companies that have been doing good PR for a long time are reaping the benefits. And the ones that tried to take shortcuts with SEO tactics and tricks and link building farms and all this other kind of crap that was going on for the last 20 years now are seeing their rankings decline because I think the AIs can see through all of that fakeness. And really they're just, the real credible businesses that are showing up in authentic ways are the ones that are being served up.
And speaking of, I'm going to use a little bit of a pun. Rick, what do you think the missing link is in terms of maybe some misconceptions or things maybe you've seen in the past that have not worked? Why did they not work?
I would say trying to accelerate the performance of your website through hacks. It's probably one of the most common ones. From the point of view of experts on SEO, doing all of these tactics, and at some point it was easy to do it because both the algorithms from Google weren't able to recognize those things, and two, the LLMs weren't as smart as they are nowadays. So I think that was very easy to do for a while, but now it's not anymore. The other thing is when clients obsess over design versus performance, both in content or of the website itself. I have seen this many times where the client thinks that because it looks pretty, it's going to perform very well, but that's not the case. It has to be a combination of, like the technical SEO could be seen as a diet, having the proper diet, and then the look and feel or the user experience is just another component. And as long as they are aligned and they are properly used, I think that's what makes a website more powerful and a brand as well. Like Peter mentioned, right? The more authentic you are, the more aligned with everything that you're doing you are, the more performance or better performance you will have.
I really like that. Have a balanced diet. Like you said, I like that a lot. Question for both of you. We'll start with Peter. What is the first thing you're going to do with a new client then? What are the things that you need to know from them in order to make this all work?
So I think it comes down to what we call Google's EAT framework. So it's sort of expertise, authority, trustworthiness, authenticity. And so for me, when I think about a new client, I always tell people is when you think about marketing your website, just because somebody told you video is the new coolest thing and you should do video and like you hate doing video, you hate the way you look on video, you will never do video. And so it's like, what are the authentic, trustworthy, real ways that we can kind of get your brand to life? I personally like public speaking and teaching and doing workshops. And so that has worked really well for our business. And guess what? Every time I get invited to speak somewhere, we do some social media about it. We post about it, right? Whereas I hate doing video, like sitting there in a video and trying to record myself. So why would I do that? For me, authenticity is actually, I think, probably one of the most important things. And so how can we authentically tell your story in a way that's comfortable? Then marketing is not going to feel like hard work. It's just going to feel like a natural extension of what you do. And I think that's kind of the way to get there. Just to bring that to life, like one of the things we've changed, back to one of your questions, is now when we do grab content from clients, we actually do exactly this. We have people like you, Vanessa, interview our clients in a very natural way, have conversations, get them talking. And that feels much different from either the old way, which was fill out this form and answer all these questions, or go record yourself or whatever. It's just a natural flow, natural conversation. And if they like themselves on video, great, we'll use that video. If not, we'll grab the transcript and we'll just grab their authentic voice from there, right? So to me, it's about the more simple and easy you make it for people to just tell their story and be authentic, the more likely they're going to be successful with their marketing.
Yeah, and you're 100% right. It's worked well in my favor for the most part, but I know sometimes everything can seem like an interview with me. Like my husband would say, "Yes, that's exactly what happened. I basically interviewed him when we started going out." So, but you're right. Like that's how you get the information, and you want it to be their brand in their voice, but in a way that works. That is the best way. And I really do like that this is kind of the method that is used here for that, because it's a lot better than, I don't know, I'm not going to always get what I need from you if it's just over text or just over an email, and having that face to face really does help. So for Rick, what about you? What is the first thing you do when you get a new client that might not even know where to start?
We are solving that through context engineering, and it's through those conversations, as Peter mentioned. So the more information we can get about the brand, the contract or package they chose, the kind of services they are comfortable with, I think that's the most important things for us to know, and voice and tone, right, for the client. So we are doing the right job for them.
Yeah, that's great. So what are the things people need to know now? If you could tell them one thing, what would you say? Whoever wants to go
So
first.
I would say that don't let perfection get in the way of progress. I think one thing that stalls a lot of people from being successful with online marketing and with kind of being found is that they nitpick every little detail and it has to be perfect. And actually, I'm going to tell a story about an ad which got us onto the WSI network. So it was sort of at the time we were figuring out how to add digital marketing to our agency, our PR agency. And, obviously the internet's always listening and serving you ads that, are relevant to whatever you're talking about or looking for. And the ad that WSI had was this like very close up face that was fuzzy. And I kept seeing this ad and I kept being like, what the heck is this ad? And it was like the most weird thing ever. And so I clicked on it and that got me to where we are today with WSI, right? And so like I like sharing that story because like it wasn't some polished, clean, amazing looking thing. It actually looked broke. Like, somebody make a mistake here? What is this? It kept getting my attention, right? And so my point is authentic, right? And not super polished. Scott from our team says, make it exist before you make it perfect, kind of thing, right? Just get stuff on your website, get it going, get it working for you, add content, you know what I mean? Answer questions, be transparent, all the things, and then refine it over time and make it better and better as you go.
Yep. And I am still trying to learn that. I like to call myself a recovering perfectionist. And similar to Scott, I say done is perfect. And then we can iron out the details. We can tweak it as we go, and it's going to be okay. It's going to be fine. But I have to get my brain there. I got to
Ever put it out into the world, it's gonna never do anything good for you, right?
Yeah.
And so,
yeah. Same question for you, Rick. What is one piece of advice that you would give somebody who's just getting started?
I think Peter is still the best one. I would just say, based on all the information we have gathered in the last 3 months at CIPR, I would recommend them to focus on content pillars because it definitely helps a lot with LLM tools to pick the signal in faster versus trying to do everything at once and not hyper focusing on, let's say, one pillar of content that is going to give them more presence. That would be, to me, the most important thing.
Can you kind of expand on that? So if for someone who might not even know what you mean by a content pillar?
Yeah, it's mostly focusing on creating content that is around one topic in particular, and that's back to the conversation we were having about keywords. Before, it was just stuff keywords into your blogs and post as many blogs as you can. That is just in theory, in principle. Before, it was useful because it was opening up the net, right, to the web. But now it's not really as useful. So volume is not necessarily going to be helpful. It's more about focusing on something of high quality and, like Peter mentioned, being authentic with your brand voice and tone, ensuring that that content is actually useful, easy to read for humans, easy to read for machines. So that kind of focusing, it's going to be more powerful long term for them.
So, following that, then, Rick, where else are people searching now?
LLMs for the most part. I don't have the exact numbers. I know Peter may know the number, but it's definitely the trend is over this year and next year. What we believe in general in the industry is that there's going to be a massive shift where, at some point, nobody was using computers in the companies, and eventually everyone was using computers in every company. But this is just going to be much faster. Right now, everyone is using search tools like Google or Bing, and less than a year, or in a year, is going to be probably a transition, a huge transition to using LLMs. And even, I don't know if you heard the news, but Apple is coming up with this new device where it's going to interconnect all of the different devices that you have, and it has a camera and everything, and it's going to be recording your day or like watching your day, and it's going to give you advice in real time. So there is a huge leap that we're going to do as humans, where we're going to stop using traditional means of obtaining information towards just using AI, or that's expectation.
How do I get 7 of those each day of the week? That sounds really cool, actually. And yeah, I could definitely see how that would be super beneficial. All right, Peter, quick wins versus long term investments. Where should businesses start?
So I think in terms of quick wins, first of all, I would say really structuring your website and your website content in a format that is usable, sort of for large language models and for these tools. So they look at the internet differently. They look at websites differently. They look for information differently. So we need to, again, back to answering questions. We need to answer questions, and we need to kind of structure things in shorter snippets and make information more accessible. The second quick win, I think that's really undervalued, is building your brand. And that has a number of different factors. So first of all, Google reviews on whatever channels that are relevant to your target audience and to where your business is located. People talk about things like Reddit and stuff like that, but that's a little bit less of a quick win. But overall, generally speaking, having a positive brand reputation and having people either talk about it online or having some kind of signals that show these tools that you have a positive brand. And so that could be things like reviews or star ratings or whatever it is, right? So because the way these AI models work is they'll scan websites, that'll determine if the information's on the websites. Like, so they'll find 5 websites that have kind of information about this. Then they'll go and see, is this a credible business, before they decide whether this is the website we're actually going to kind of bring up, right? So again, PR has a huge component, and these LLMs are smart enough that they don't trust your business anymore. They'll trust what other people say about your business. And so ultimately for me, what is good branding? Good branding is what other people say about your business. And so fundamentally, that is the biggest quick win, is actually making sure that, and again, being a good business. How do you get people to say good things about your business? Being a good business, providing great experience, going over the top, over and above. You know what I mean? That's kind of ultimately what it comes down to. And so for me, it's back to fundamentals, right? Answer people's questions and provide a great experience. The rest will take care of itself for the most part.
And that's music to my ears as someone who worked in media. Answer people's questions. I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. And I also love a Google review. I will spend at least 20 minutes. If it's a restaurant, I will read through all the Google reviews. Again,
100%.
something that my husband pretends to not love, but then when I find a good place, then I'm the winner. So I love a good Google
And
review.
listen, I'm gonna jump in on that because I travel a lot for work, as you guys know, and speak at a lot of conferences. So how do I decide which restaurants I go to? Yeah, I'll go to the Google. And so yeah, Google matters. Then I'll go, which ones has the highest star rating? Okay,
That
this is a
part too.
4.6, 4.7, 4.5. Okay, these are 3 good restaurants. And then I'll go read a couple of reviews, obviously, depending on what I'm feeling like. But that's exactly how I search, and that's exactly how large language models are going to be are searching as well.
Yep, the star rating is big for me as well. What about you,
Yeah.
Rick? Do you agree? Is there anything that you would like to share about a quick win or a long-term investment where a business should start? Or did Peter kind of cover all of that?
He did. But I would just say, just because I'm a little bit more into the technical side of things, I would always say take care of your site. What we were mentioning, right? That you don't just make it perfect and then you publish your website and it's there forever. It's more about continuous improvement once your website is live, and continuously keeping an eye on it, improving it, optimizing things, because it's something that people forget. Sometimes there is a lot of rush to publish your website, and it's okay to leave some things behind and fix them later. But 9 out of 10 times, especially local business or smaller business, they don't really go back and fix whatever wasn't completed properly on the back end, right? Going back to, it looks beautiful, but it's broken inside, so it's not really as good.
I feel like that's what my
for
ex said about me. Beautiful, broken inside. But yeah, no, that those are also great points, and thank you, gentlemen, for taking the time out of your day to be here and sharing your knowledge and your wisdom and helping people have a better understanding of what's going on this year and what's changed. So with that, thank you for listening to the Digital PR Show. And if you enjoyed this episode, subscribe wherever you get your podcasts, and we'll see you next time.
Well, there you have it. That's a wrap on this episode of the Digital PR Show, where the future is digital and so are we. Make sure you subscribe or catch us on socials at CIPR Comms or on the web at CIPRcommunications.com. Talk soon.